Breaking news.
Oh.
Don Davis tweeting 3 minutes ago, we are releasing Patricio Pitbull.
Oh, shit.
PFL is all about opportunity. I founded this company to create new great opportunities for top fighters. PFL has and will continue to do that for all top fighters who want to be here. Now the question is, and by the way, I was gonna go off air at 3:26, and I know we have to get off air soon to get ready for the next program. But I do want to ask: are there strings attached? Like, could he sign with the UFC today? Because we know that's where he wants to go.
I mean, Patricio Pitbull tweeted, he said 4 hours ago, look at the @UFC, @Don Davis PFL. They honor their OGs. Wow. So he actually talks about Holly Holm. She asked for a release and they gave it to her, made no fuss about it. They are honorable. That's how big organizations do things when a fighter doesn't want to continue with them. You should learn from it. And then 4 hours later, he's been released from PFL. So if there's no strings attached, Patricio Pitbull to the UFC?
Certainly you have to feel like that's the destination. Here's my issue with the entire situation. The damage is done. The damage is done in terms of the reputation of PFL and what has happened over the last couple months with Patricio, with Patchy Mix, with Corey Anderson, and others who have said, hey, where's my fights? Like, it is great that PFL is kind of looking at this and rectifying the issues and saying, okay, we're starting anew. Everything's PFL now. We'll honor the Bellator legacy, but we are PFL. I like these moves. These are the moves I've been calling for a long time, and I'm not alone. Many others. I'm not trying to pretend that this is my sole endeavor, but many people have said this. But you could have released these fighters months ago. You could have avoided this negative PR campaign. You could have talked to them and had a legitimate conversation about whether there was going to be a future for them with the organization, how that was going to come to pass, what the future planning was going to be, and you wouldn't have had months of Patricio Pitbull and Patchy Mix and Corey Anderson and others saying, what the hell is going on with my career, only to then release Patricio Pitbull. And who knows if Corey Anderson or Patchy Mix or anybody else is next. If they now there's a precedent where they can go, hey, you've released Patricio, release me as well. So
dangerous.
It's a weird situation to have play out now this far after the damage has been done. But I also do respect it. I respect that if that is the decision that PFL is making, that they don't want to be in the business, and Patricio has made his opinion very clear. You asked him when you spoke to him on this show whether the damage is done, if they could give him a fight, if he would take it. He said he wants to go to the UFC, no doubt. So I respect the intent behind it to say, hey, Patricio, okay, we are done, go elsewhere. But it just it comes too late for me. The damage has been done here, and it feels like this could have been handled in a better way.
My read on the situation is this is all very fresh. The stance seems to be, we'll believe it when we see it. I mean, I think he tweeted this out in real time. Like, I don't think there's any sort of release letter yet. And so the devil is in the details. Are there matching rights? Is there an exclusive negotiation period? But they need as many PR wins as possible. To your point, this has not been a PR win. Yeah. And so if you can spin this as, hey, we want people here who want to be here. If you don't want to be here, you can go. Then you can try to fix this.
Totally agree. But are you opening the door for people that you actually want on the roster to then say, I want to go too?
But I mean, you could say the same thing about Holly Holm asking for a release. Now, of course, that's the big leagues, right? Yeah.
And also, it's different. The UFC may no longer find Holly as useful as the PFL could potentially find. If let's put actual names to it. If I'm Patchy Mix and I no longer want to compete for PFL and I want to go to the UFC and I ask for my release, are you granting it if you're PFL? My answer as a businessman would be no, but are you eliminating the goodwill with this Patricio thing? There's no clean way that this gets done because of what has happened over the last couple of months.
I don't think everyone will be in this position. Like, I don't think Corey Anderson can go to the PFL brass and say,
maybe not.
Maybe because, to be honest, he isn't getting what he is getting from PFL from UFC. Do you know what I mean?
But Patchy Mix?
Yes.
That's the thing.
The UFC was interested in doing a deal for Patchy Mix.
Could Cedric Doumbé? Could Dakota Jacheva?
Well, don't forget, Cedric Doumbé was in the UFC. They're the ones who let him walk.
Now he's a significantly bigger star. But point taken. Yeah, who knows? I wouldn't be so keen to let everybody walk out the door if I was PFL, but it does feel like Patricio's in a different point in his career as well.
A lot of this is happening in real time. I'm writing to a lot of people in real time.
Yes. And
it's also interesting. Patricio has put out there that he wants to be with the UFC from a negotiation standpoint. Now the UFC knows that you want to be here.
It's a good point.
So I understand that he was frustrated, but the UFC isn't going to break the bank because they're going to say, A, you've already told us you want to be here, and B, where else are you going to go?
I was going to say, where else do you go from here?
Is the only other option.
One is not signing MMA guys anymore.
No, nor is that what Patricio's after at this point, right? Like, if he wanted the potential paycheck, like, he could stay with PFL. What he wants is UFC championship. What he wants is legacy. What he wants is glory. And so there is only one place to get it. And to your point, now he has limited his negotiating power. But I have to imagine the UFC wants him as well. He would be a great addition to that division, which already is absolutely loaded. So
I just texted a very high-ranking person at the PFL, can Patricio sign with anyone right now? And they wrote back, yes.
Oh.
Patricio's team is saying we'll believe it when we see it.
Yeah.
We don't have any of this in writing. So let's see. But this is...
you tell me how you feel about this. I have to imagine if they are going to publicly say they're releasing him, I have to imagine that their best course of action for the positive PR, for this to not blow back, would be to do it no strings attached.
Multiple people are telling me he can sign with anyone. They're just saying, which is the right stance, we'll believe it when we see it.
Yeah, totally. Because this has been an ongoing saga, and they should want to know, like, definitively. But I would imagine that this is no strings attached. But again, believe it when we see it.
Yeah, and it does bring up a good point. Like, you don't want to set a precedent that if you become so disappointed or so disgruntled, I should say, and such a, and I don't say this like to knock him. He was just upset, like such a malcontent, if you will, that you'll let everyone go who is upset or who openly criticizes. So there's a tricky balance here. But I would say, honestly, Patricio has kind of done it all within the Bellator world. There wasn't much else out there that was of great interest. There's only so many years that he has left on, his career lifespan. Like, he's in his late 30s at this point.
Yeah, you're correct. Like, there is a different point in his career that he is to the others that we're kind of talking about. Maybe Corey Anderson's the closest in relation in terms of the big names, but like, yeah, a Dakota, Apache, they're still young in their careers and have a lot of value to PFL. I don't imagine it would be as easy a conversation. Whereas for Patricio, hey, you want to take a step toward legacy as opposed to the contract, it makes sense.
Yeah. So, sorry, I don't mean to be doing this while the show's going on, but I'm trying to.
This is the biz.
I'm trying to gain some clarity. I'm not trying to put a little Schefter here on all of you. I feel like they kind of play that up when he's like with two phones.
Listen,
I'm just getting an update from the scene. Just hold on, just 1 second.
No one likes
that.
I
thought you were referring to the one time he said his.
We're doing it right now, Adam.
Famous or most important, like the what was his favorite one? There was one. There was one that he did.
Shefty?
Yeah, it's all right.
Don't
worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Shut up.
But yeah, big news. I mean, like it or not, Don Davis is putting everything out on Front Street these days. He's out here on these Twitter streets just throwing everything. Just hey, changes.
He's become a lot more active, and by design or not, he has become the face of the organization as far as like. No one talks about Ray Sefo. Peter Murray doesn't get talked about. He's more of like an executive type.
Don Davis.
It's Don Davis, and that's the way it should be. The decision maker has to be the guy who's out in front. Thanks for watching this video. Hey, before you go, do me a favor, hit that sub button, give us a thumbs up, hit the little bell thingy as well. Leave us a nice comment or two. We appreciate you all very much.